So we can change the narrative, looking at the, behind and looking from where we are,
and
looking forward. I'm very optimistic that we will be able to, if we behave well, if we behave this chapter 2, it will be very helpful for us.
Okay.
You know, there's something, finally, sorry. You see, there is something the president did. This national mental health policy. The provisions here with the situation we are facing now is enough to be able to bring every Nigerian to a place of stability, safety. Like somebody said, all Nigerians are mad. Because many people are not able to cope with...
Can you hold it up so that we see it very well? Yeah.
You see?
Yes.
This one,
health policy.
Is the president, and one of the major provisions here is to have a commission. We've not been able to see that, and the what do you call it, the role of civil society. If you implement this, you will be where you need to be before before next year. We'll be able to achieve so much. Okay, it's the same government, this President Tinubu, the courage to even do this, the mental health policy, because it's been hanging on for eternity. So it's to just harness little things there and you'll be where you are. Look at this, the manual of mental awareness. So, and look at this National Suicide Prevention Strategy Framework. So we have all the resources. It's harnessing it, getting the right people. Let us diminish the people hanging around corridor of power, hypocrites and people who are what do you call it now? There are people who are pretending, what do you call them? Sycophants.
Sycophants. Okay.
Let us de-emphasize that. So the president can do better if he's able to make the government more inclusive. Women, men, persons who are just sitting there in their house with so much knowledge and is not utilized. And they are not people who will bring themselves forward. But many of those who are around the governance table are there. So nobody should play politics with governance.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ene. You have raised a vital point and you spoke a lot. And let me bring in Professor Yakub now. The policy, how do we handle or promote, just like she said and he said, this policy of inclusivity, you know, including people maybe not from your political affiliation, whatever, but just competent people on merit, you know, to perform. And also, the president tomorrow will be giving us, you know, a broadcast. What are your expectations from this broadcast? What would you be expecting to hear from, you know, the president moving forward?
Well, let me recall the point that became evident after he won the election last year.
Yeah.
He said he will be constituting a government of national competence.
Instituting
a government of national competence. Yes. And shortly after, that was short, I mean, he made this statement when he was actually making a speech accepting the result of the election. And I remember also that shortly after that, I was in the U.S. to attend a conference, and I was made to give the after the night speech at the conference organized by Professor Falola, you know, which drew a lot of Nigerians from there, and there were also some Americans who turned up, and I harped on this point, you know. I think the issue is we have to define our politics. Define it. What is the objective? What do we actually want to bring about in this country? You know, and when you define it in this way, you come up with, you know, what one would consider as, you know, factors that may likely even also create problems for you to achieve the objective. In other words, you know, we will have challenges. So nobody is going to deceive themselves to say, oh, well, it's very easy, smooth, easy going. No, it's not like that. I want to therefore draw the attention of the Mr. President to look at this comment of national competence.
National competence.
It's a very key point he made on acceptance of, his victory. I'm not saying he's not appointing people of competence yet, but I think there is a need for also, just as we're talking of inclusivity, we can use this platform of what he has committed himself to doing to actually address, the issue of inclusivity, to bring up, people who can actually, they may not need to belong to his party. Okay, let them also, because they have, contributions to make to the development of the country, to the political development of the country, economic development of the country, social development of the country, and you bring them in. It is going to go a long way, in helping, himself and also helping Nigerians to be on a trajectory that will lift off from, what I usually refer to as the general poverty in this country. We have resources. There is no doubt about this. We have resources, but because we have also not put in place a mechanism to actually, optimize these resources, that's why we remain, underdeveloped. We can't run away from, getting Nigerians, even if it means those in diaspora should be motivated to come back. We can do this. We can do this because over there they are contributing to the development of the societies where they have found themselves. Yeah. They come back here, with the point she has been raising, from the council, patriotism. This is also a very key point. Everybody, all of us, there's nobody, who is anybody. Let me put it that way. There's nobody who is anybody that cannot actually add, even if you call it, very little contribution to the development of this country. Therefore, he needs to go and find out who these are.
Okay.
Also, get people who can advise him on, the commitment he made. Let him, address this, and we'll move. In fact, there are people who want to, find a way of getting integrated into the machinery of governance. Yes. Okay, but they are also very shy. They don't want to go out and be seen to be people who are begging for jobs. Yes, they would look at. They may even push him aside, and in the end, who do we get? People who may not even be so committed. So I think, his government should actually come up with, a policy measure that can attract people, or that he can use to get people close to him. We have the talents. Okay. It's only how to motivate them or include them in what we're doing.
I have had, when the SGF was my governor, I had written to him, including Governor Suswam. I wrote to him that I don't need salary, but that I have knowledge to be able to support the state. I wrote application for appointment. People were laughing. So he said, I didn't ask for money. I said no.
You just wanted to contribute.
Yes,
want to add value.
Yes, add value.
Just want to contribute, and people were laughing. So I agree with you. They found it very strange when he was governor. Yeah. And he said, "Oh, this work you are doing, the publishing, your color is changing. Just go and rest." And there are people who genuinely want to make contributions,
but they don't know how to go about it, and they are not politicians,
and they are shy.
Yes, most people who get appointment now are those who contributed to the campaign. But if we are, there's this argument that if we are really practicing the presidential system of government, which the US is practicing, once a person is declared a candidate of a party that is going for the presidential election, you find out that he already has a team. He also has script writers. He always has his lobbyists. You know, this is something we miss in this in Nigerian government. Lobbyists, people who lobby for people who are competent to come and serve a government for the collective good of the country. How can we get to that point?
Well, I think how do we get there? We'll look forward to the president address tomorrow. You know, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is better positioned. Even his mantra of Renew Hope agenda, I think what we look forward to tomorrow is to rekindle the hope. Interestingly, he brought back the old national anthem. So I look forward to the president to hail Nigeria and Nigerians tomorrow. Hail Nigerians and Nigerians that we have survived 64 years, regardless of what we have. This is not a failed nation. And it should also hail Nigerians that it's part of the challenges. Nigerians are still committed, you know, to the task of nation building. I also look forward to the president tomorrow to underscore the importance of democracy.
Yes,
we shouldn't take this for granted. You know, 25 years of democracy. Yeah, but Prof, maybe what we need to do is quality control of this democracy. We've produced presidents, we produce governors, you know, but we need to translate to good governance, introduce, and that is about integrity of our elections. But what I even want the president to let people know is that we've come a long way. That democracy may not be perfect, but the alternative to imperfect democracy is more democracy, not less. We can't return to anybody who doesn't have our mandate. I think we need to underscore that. Then, I think the last one is what you have already raised. Tomorrow should also be an opportunity, you know, to amplify some of those progress that we have made as a nation. You know, I'm from labor, you know, that's my background. And I can say that there are challenges of unemployment. You know, our youth, they have all the certificates, BA, MC, MSc, PhD, but they don't have the rate certificate, which is JOB, jobs. You know, but there are also some merits that we're making some progress.
And skills.
So, and skills, you know, President's even committed to what they call skill upgrade, you know, which is fine. So, but we should also underscore this minimum wage, which had not been signed. Very, very important, because honestly speaking, we need highly motivated workforce. Am I communicating?
Yes.
You know, and we should be well remunerated. But that we even have a new minimum wage, 60. Indeed, in this, since Nigeria has started this business, is significant.
It's significant.
And we did so through negotiation, freedom of association, assembly.
So when does it take effect?
So I think the template is out now, effective from...
Is it July or May?
I think
July.
it's July. And that was also agreed
no longer
by the
May.
president.
No.
Yes. I also watched the CNG buses, which have just been delivered to some section of labor, road transport. I hope we will make that one to be national, to be everywhere.
Okay.
So I think we have to raise the hope that, yet there are challenges, some progress is being made. Now all we need to do is to consolidate that better. But that requires constant communication.
Okay, we have to consolidate on the gains that we already have now. And like you said, for democracy, you need more democracy.
Just in the last one, you know, we're a bit too insular, even in terms of our foreign policy. I think we should talk about that. I was happy the president made a case for us to be on the Security Council.
Yes.
Nigeria deserves that.
Those are some of the, actually,
for 42 years.
We don't have more time now.
Okay,
that will be part of the conversation tomorrow.
We have more conversation tomorrow. We have a long conversation tomorrow.
Excellent.
And some of these issues will be discussed. We know that tomorrow is your birthday. Tomorrow is your birthday.
I'm not going to ask you how old you're going to be.
It's an independent, independent baby.
So we're talking to independent Dr.
That's why she's so passionate about Nigeria.
You said this, the person who made this for me, I was supposed to use it for my 60th birthday.
Okay.
She was born in 1960. She lives in Okene. So the question I've been asking them, I say, so when will you bring such a man from Okene to come for a program like this? Because it makes more sense because she was born in 1960. And she's making this. She made 4 sets for me, and she made something very beautiful. So right there, she's so patriotic, she's so generous, and she made it very cheap, very cheap.
Okay.
So how can she benefit? How would
And it's
she
so
be
beautiful.
part of
Beautiful.
the celebration at the villa? And why are they always hiding inside the villa to do this?
Yeah, we have to make independence not low key.
Dr. Ede, let me
It has to be
just-
high key.
Let me
Like
just
we used
ask
to
you
know you
just
before
one
with our
question.
socks
I want
and
to
white
thank
green, white
NTA for
green.
making independence.
So let me just ask you one question before I sign you off.
Okay.
What birthday gift are you expecting from the president tomorrow?
Just for him to tell politicians, you need to behave well according to this chapter 2, section 23 of the Constitution. Good behavior that will make people happy. I want people to eat. My name, Ene, means mother.
Okay.
You cannot be happy when your children are hungry.
All right. Thank you very much, the mother.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Ede, thank you so much. Educational
pleasure.
journalist, human rights and development advocacy professional. Thank you for coming on Good Morning Nigeria.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you for your contribution. Well, Professor Nuhu Yakub is the former Vice Chancellor University of Abuja and Sokoto. Thank you so much, sir, for your contribution.
You're welcome.
And comrade, as usual, we thank you for coming on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank NTA for making Independence Day not low key but high key.
Yeah, Comrade Isaremu, Director General Michael Imodu, National Institute of Labor Studies. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for contributing immensely to this conversation. The conversation continues tomorrow. Don't forget to join us. I am Juma Yusuf.
And I'm Ademola Ade. Do have a fabulous day.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Drive in the rain?
It depends on the velocity of the rain.
This is the network service of the NTA.
The Igala people are seen to portray their rich and colorful tradition through their cuisines. Once again, I'm at the Igala kitchen and I have with me Chef Shaibu, Utenwajo, Helen. I'm back again.
Welcome, ma. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much. Let's quickly take a look at Chef Helen's profile for the benefit of those who didn't see her previous episodes on Bon Appetit, a culinary adventure. Stay tuned. So what is it this time around you will be preparing for my viewers?
Yes, we will be preparing Igbala Agugu today. And
tell us a bit about Igbala Agugu.
The Igbala Agugu, one of the recipe we have is pigeon pea in English, but the Igala name is Agugu and the botanical name is Cajanus caja. So
it's proteinous.
It's proteinous. It's grown in Igala land.
And it's synonymous, if you ask me, with the Asians. I know the Indians eat it. They use it a lot to prepare really nice cuisine. Yes. So it's really heartwarming to know that it's cultivated on
Igala land.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so take us through the ingredients we'll be requiring to prepare Igbala. What did you say?
Igbala Agugu.
Igbala Agugu. And you're going to be serving it with?
Serving it with peppered chicken.
Oh, beautiful. Whoa, that's tweaking it a little bit differently, right?
Yes.
Let's see the ingredients.
Okay. The main ingredients here is the pigeon pea, agugu. This is it. Then we have our palm oil. It's from Igala land too. Then we have our onion. We have our scotch pepper.
Scotch bonnets.
We have seasoning. Then we have salt. We have vegetable oil.
What are you going to be using?
I will use it for the chicken.
To make the sauce?
To make the sauce.
Okay.
And this is gari. This is from cassava.
I can't wait to see how you're going to do it, Chef.
Okay, you will see it. And it's very, very simple to prepare.
Thanks for staying with us, my esteemed viewer. We'll be right back after this time.
I've boiled some water. While I wash the pigeon pea, I've already picked the stone from it.
Okay. Those are bad?
Yes, they are bad. So you have to pack them, yes, pack them from the surface of the water. Then you have to gently, you have to turn it so that if there is any stone, it can go under.
This takes some expertise.
Yes. If not, you will not enjoy it because of stone.
Well done.
Thank you, ma.
You can place it.
Okay.
You know, 1 or 2 pieces of stone or sand in your food could actually make something you took your time to
prepare.
Yeah, to be unpalatable.
Yes. So you still need to wash it second time. You can see some bad ones still float.
Yeah. Does it cook fast?
No. No. It doesn't. So if you have a pressure pot, you can use.
Okay.
Yes. And the way it's been prepared in the village, you know, in the village they use firewood to cook it. Or if you have a charcoal pot, you can use it.
Averagely, how long does it take to prepare?
1 hour.
Whoa. Per serving?
Yes, ma'am. So this is it.
That's a long time. This cannot be put on an a la carte
No,
menu.
no. Because guests will be waiting and waiting and waiting.
Except if you pre-cook it.
Yes. So, I'm adding it to the water, the boiling water.
Hold on, Shay.
Let me cover it and allow it to cook. Now I want to check if the water is dried
And if it's
cooked soft.
Yeah.
Okay? It's soft.
How do you know?
So for
the benefit of my viewer,
Yes.
can you please prove that?
Okay.
It's cooked, soft.
You can see it.
Whoa!
So it's soft now.
Well done.
Thank you.
At least we've convinced my viewer
So,
that it's truly soft.
This is the gari that we want to use it for the igbala.
Is there an alternative for this?
Yes, you can use corn flour and you can use cassava flour. But today I'm using gari to do it.
Okay.
So you add pinch of
you
salt.
get the same end result.
Yes, the same end result. You add pinch of salt to it. You mix. Please help me with water.
Sure.
Okay.
How much of it?
Just small. You sprinkle some water.
Should I use this?
Yes. Even if it is cassava flour or corn flour, you still do it this way. You add some water to it.
Just like mixing egusi
Yes.
with a bit of water.
Yes. So the next thing to do is to pour it at the center of the pigeon pea that is already cooked on fire.
Why center?
So that it will not scatter, because I will still have to pack it out and let it cool before I add the pepper sauce to it and mix it.
What a procedure. Conscious effort.
Yes. I think this is enough.
Okay.
So I want to add the blended pepper for the sauce. And some people don't like their pepper to be smooth as this. So if you want your own to be like a chopped pepper, you can...
Like gravy?
Yes. Add your salt to it. Some seasoning. It's okay.
All correct. Now this will fry for how long?
No, just 3 minutes. I'll remove it now from fire. Yes.
Okay.
But I want to do the
we switch
mixing.
positions?
Yes.
Where do you want me to keep this?
And keep the chicken here.
Okay. Lift where you have to lift.
Okay.
Space management.
Okay.
Put it here.
Okay. Then we remove the pot.
Should I on the lighter?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, for the chicken to boil.
To heat up a bit.
Yes.
Look at.
So I will need this to turn.
Can I help you?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want me to do?
Okay, you'll be adding it small.
Okay. While you mix.
While I mix, yes.
Can I go?
Yes. Add. Add.
More?
Add. It's okay, it's okay. I didn't pack the gari well. That is why you are seeing the gari mixture.
Nice.
Yes.
I think another thing that can be used for this recipe is couscous. Right?
Yes, you can use it.
But traditionally,
It's a corn flour, cassava flour, or gari.
yeah.
So,
Really nice.
yes. Can I have the gari? You know, some people can eat it like this, but some need more of gari. That is why I'm mixing this one.
This will make a very filling meal.
Yes. So I want to mix it here first, so that the sauce can enter before I pour it inside this one and mix it up again. Okay, add for me small. Okay, it's okay. Okay, awesome. Bye.
If I were to choose between this and that, I'll go for that.
Okay?
More of the protein than the
Yes,
carbohydrate.
yes. So let me just
Mix
a bit. I will not mix everything because some people will not like it if the gari is too much.
Okay.
I think this is okay.
More sauce?
Yes, you add small sauce.
I think it can take all.
Okay.
What do you think?
Let's try it.
Are we now doing trial and error?
Okay, this side. I need more sauce.
More? More?
Okay, just little. Okay, thank you, ma.
Come on. That's why I'm here.
Okay? It's ready.
Wow. I can't wait.
It tastes nice.
I always love to try what I've not tasted.
Yes, it's good.
Always eager.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Okay, let me cover it now since.
Okay. To keep it warm.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So what's next?
The next thing is to fry our chicken. So let me quickly remove this.
Let me pass this.
Okay, thank you. Let me get.
Be careful.
I want to turn the meat. The chicken.
You don't fry it dry?
No, I don't want it dry. Since I'm going to use it as the sauce. I don't want it to be too dried. The oil is hot already, so I'll add the pepper, blended pepper. I don't want it smooth. I'm adding seasoning. Okay, salt. Now the sauce is ready. I want to add the chicken.
You're not going to add the stock a bit? I think it can come before or after, right?
Before or after? Anyone. Okay, let me add stock to it. Thank you. I'm going to plate it.
Now we see how we're going to plate it.
Ma, are you still being into this place?
I thought you were going to do that.
Yes. Thank you, ma. With chicken sauce. Is ready. Normally in the village we only use gari and abu to prepare, but now it is modernized. You can see our protein by the side. Chicken protein, chicken for the protein, and from the presentation you can see the way we slice the onions to garnish it.
Of course.
So it's not our usual way of preparing the balabu in Igala land again. Enjoy your meal.
Thank you so much. It looks really, really pretty. I don't want to scatter the arrangement.
Okay.
So should I just pass?
No, don't pass.
I should dig in.
Just dig in.
I don't want to scatter this arrangement. Should I?
Please do.
Okay, I'll do that. Let me taste and give you feedback. It tastes like beans.
Pigeon pea is also
It's a legume, yeah.
Yeah, it's legume.
It's really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, let me see how soft this is. Of course, a ring of onion. And then the chicken. Touch the sauce.
Oh my God. What?
This is fantastic. Can I give it to you?
I'm highly impressed, honestly. I'm highly impressed. You see, a lot of people think that our local and traditional cuisines cannot taste really nice, you know, and cannot be like presented to other parts of the world. Well, I can tell you categorically that with what I see here and what I've tasted, I can tell you that Igbala Agugu can compete with any Mediterranean cuisine. and possibly, you know, be selected or said to be better off than, you know, the likes of couscous, which you have succeeded, you know, in bringing to light using our own cassava grits, gari, you know, mixed with this pigeon pea. I'm highly impressed. This is nice. You all ought to try it. We are Africans, and of course this one is Nigerian, coming from Kogi State of Nigeria. In fact, the Igala speaking parts of Nigeria. It is really, really fantastic.
The Igala people residing on the eastern side of Kogi State express themselves in a colorful, unique culture which has ancient roots. They also have a variety of dishes that have great taste when prepared well. It's been Bon Appetit, a culinary adventure. Be our guest same time next week. Bye now.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
As one of the most popular tribes in the north-central geopolitical zone of the country, the Alago-speaking people of Doma are originally known and referred to as Idoma and migrated from Apa, the seat of the ancient Kwararafa Empire. Their popular tale indicated that the Doma was founded in the 13th century, around 1232 AD. Disintegration of famous Kwararafa Empire in 13th century saw the movement of Alago people to Ukari, presently Taraba State, and Ida in the present-day Kogi State. In search of greener pasture, Andoma Ogoshi moved to Ankpa and Otuba, as well as passed through River Benue and Ogoigo to the present settlement.
Andoma Ogoshi led among the people that hitherto were called Idoma. Before, in the late 50s, we adopted the name Alago as a name of the tribe that is called Alago today, in our various locations in the 5 local governments of Nasarawa South, Senatorial District of Nasarawa State. Among the people we led are his brothers. One, Nyapadi, Akiana Nyapadi, who founded the present Kiana. The brothers at Obi, Anasakyo, Agaza, Aguatashi, Soloso, Osakyo, Osakyo, Ibi, in present our local government. And some of our brothers I find in Akpanaja, and some of our various locations that make up the Alago people in Nasarawa State and in the world today.
The people of Alago tribe are presently occupying 3 local government areas in Nasarawa State, namely Obi, Keana, and Doma, including Asakyo, a community within Lafia local government area. The people of Doma are believed to have settled in Ogyogo at the bank of River Benue in the present-day Benue State, and in Oba, Sidoma, in present-day Keana local government area of Nasarawa State, before they finally settled at their present location in Doma. The town Doma was established by the Andoma of Doma, or Sabonya the First.
Doma, founded by Andoma Sabonya Ogoshi by 1232 AD. It's about the longest existing community in what Nasarawa State is today. We have all through this time lived peacefully and happily with our neighbors. It's the extent of our tolerance that brings every tribe and people around and settle in Doma. And we've always insisted that whenever you step into the land of Doma, His Highness has the same responsibility to protect you as every other person that is originally or the son or daughter of Doma. And because of the extent of the tolerance of the people of Doma, you have across all tribes and people, anybody that wants to live in peace and pursue very legitimate means of livelihood finds a very hospitable home in Doma. That peace, till date, exists in a relationship, and accommodation exists in a relationship with everybody. And that's why it makes Doma stand out.
Andoma Ahmadu Aliu Oga is the 43rd king of the Doma dynasty.
When the brother of Andoma that was migrating along with his brothers returned to his ancestors and his family was left behind, and his immediate family, and they founded the Idoma family that today is the nucleus of the Idoma heritage in Benue State. And we in Doma, like we are referred to by the Idoma people, Idoma Noku, means the original ancestral home of the Idoma people. are today resident here. When Andoma Osabonyo, she came, he resided first at Odorja before he migrated to the present location of the palace. And some of his brothers settled at Odogyo and the other at Asibiri. And with increase in population and growth, the original location, Odorja, is housing the body of Andoma Osabonyo and all of the people that are associated with him in birth, from the people that he led. And Odogyo houses the ancestry of the other royal family, or the Obushugu, and Asibiri, or the Enumakwe. Originally, there were settlements. When Odorja was outgrown by the increase in population, Aki, who led his kins, or the Obushugu family, had the consent of Andoma Osabonyo to settle at Odogyo, and he moved his family to Odogyo, and when he died, he was buried there. And the Enumakwe family settled at Asibiri, and all those are associated with them. When the population explosion led that they must migrate out of the place, the leader, when he died, was buried there, and all persons that have to do with the lineage, whenever they die, are now buried there. And Odorja houses the Oga dynasty, and that is the original Doma before growth and development led to the various locations to find the inhabitants of Doma today.
The Doma people are predominantly farmers, venturing into other human endeavors like hunting, fishing, weaving, and handcrafts, which are also integral parts of their culture and economic activities.
We are at an advantage of this initial privilege of artisanship that today the world is exploring its excellence from Doma. I'm sure when you're coming in, you saw a lot of carpentry work by the roadside from the various beds that come from Turkey and Dubai. Just bring the design to the carpenters in Doma, and you pick a model that rivals the one you're importing for any country. So the excellence of the entrepreneurship, desperation of our youths, male and female, is silently invading the world of service delivery, by the grace of God, in the near future.
The community has rich tradition and cultural festivities such as Amiri, Onu, and the popular Odu festival, being celebrated annually to thank God for protection and also to pray for bumper harvests in the preceding year.
Bringing themselves together to celebrate God's favors, ask God for more favors, celebrate God's protection, ask for God's protection, and to socialize and relate as families that maybe for about a year have not met. Since as a people we are originally farmers, and the farming in Doma is different from most locations because we sleep in the farm. We have as much houses as we have in the town. Everybody that has a house in town has a house in the farm. As large as his family member, so is the size of the compound in the farm. Essential engagements are to farm and to farm and to farm all through the year. So at every Odu, everybody comes from every farm and every location across the world. Now in modern times, because of education and involvement in national service, people come from their various places of work to join their forebears, their parents, their brothers and sisters that they may have not seen over time, who are either in their various places of work or at farms or in the town. to celebrate a reunion, more or less. So in addition to celebrating all of God's favors, to thank Him for a bountiful years or year of a bountiful harvest, we use the period to prepare our armed forces. That's a period that every gifted person brings his contribution to perfect the armed forces as it then was, or the people of Doma, to stand in defense of the town and people whenever there's any external aggression against the people in the town.
To preserve and to promote culture, harmonious coexistence, and unity in diversity, various forms of cultural activities are seen, displayed by various communities that make up Doma at the Andomas Palace. One among the festivals celebrated by the Doma people is Odu Festival. During the Odu Festival, Eku, who is the chief priest and the most senior among the masquerades, comes out from the ancestral graveyard known as Odogyo and pay homage and tribute to historical and traditional places before reaching the Andomas Palace to climax the Odu Festival. Usually, camera is not allowed to capture the emergence of the masquerade from the ancestral graveyard for traditional reasons.
He will come out at the end of the day to show glory to God. He will dance with his people, dance with the masquerade. They will hug each other, and then it's like bye-bye to dry season, and we'll expect the new rain, new planting season. And then life will continue for those who will be alive.
Other masquerades like Inarigo, Abokyo, Ogun, among others, perform different roles and add clamor to the annual rituals and celebrations. Sons and daughters of Doma, both home and abroad, dressed in their colorful attire with smiles on their faces, celebrating for witnessing the day and pray for another bumper harvest in the coming farming season.
Odu means a lot to all Alago, not only Alago that are in Doma. But to me as a person, Odu is my identity. Odu is like a venom in our blood, that without it, we lost pride, we lost the person we are. So Odu, as a matter of fact, means a lot to me.
Odu is a tradition or culture of our people that would do it annually. So celebrating Odu is a kind of bringing people within and outside together to see or to look at the relationship within us in the community.
Uzanibaya goduema inkeni wagoseni awa dosongba osejobo saboso obosegija bataba gige yonso nango grebe nyoki agafashe.
An exciting day because it's the last day of Odu Festival. We're supposed to be celebrated yearly. We had one yesterday and today marks the end of the celebration, and it's very, very exciting.
Usually, friends and families and other neighboring communities of the Alago of Doma, like the Migili, Agatu, Aho, also add color to the festival to foster unity among themselves.
There's nothing we have better than this, our culture. We all come from a particular culture. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we have our Odu festival. We, the indigenous Alago people, this festival has been celebrated for more than 100, 200 years, since the inception of Doma, since from Andoma Osabu. This is not a new festival. It is a festival that happens once in a year. They usually use it to sharpen their swords and try their guns in terms of war.
The festival can only come to an end for the year only when they will do masquerade, is seen somersaulting and exchanging pleasantries with the paramount ruler of the kingdom, the Andoma Otoma, to mark the beginning of their new farming season, indicating that their ancestors have accepted their sacrifices. Some describe it as culture at its best. Others say it is a beauty of tradition, reenacting rich historical antecedents of a people. So, what are your thoughts? Why not travel back in time with a date on the next episode of the program on Africa's largest TV network, the NTA?
Fashion has been described as a form of self-expression and autonomy at a particular period and place and in specific contexts of clothing, footwear, lifestyle, accessories, makeup, hairstyle, and body posture. In its everyday use, it implies a look defined by the fashion industry as that which is trending. Nigeria is known to be one of the most fashionable countries in Africa, with over 250 ethnic groups. Each has something uniquely beautiful in its dressing style. Africa is a place of spectacular fashion practices in textiles, jewelry, hairstyles, or multiple combinations of all these. Today, Africa has an extremely rich and evolving fashion culture, leading to the emergence and the multiplication of African fashion weeks, top stylists and designers from the continent. West African prints have long been a multicultural and international trade item in the wider sense, with vibrant colors and patterns. African fashion is taking over the world by the storm because African fashion or designs have been able to distinguish its designs from that of every other continent. The enormous leverage on the impact of the social media is helping African fashion gain global recognition, thereby influencing inspired ideas into their work. That is why a lot of international celebrities are taking interest in African styles and prints. Though African continent has brought in new dimensions to have various prints, designs and styles, the Ankara prints, for instance, is a game changer. They have in no small way changed the face of African fashion both locally and internationally. Over the years, the stereotype of reducing the wearing of African prints for many wedding ceremonies, planned church activities, funeral events or child naming ceremony, among others, are no longer correct because they are now hugely popular and accepted. In the past, African clothing were worn more by the elders, and it was not so attractive or acceptable to the younger generation. This was because African prints were sewn in styles looking raw and not creative. Fast forward to the year 2000, dynamic and impressionable styles began to emerge in big A0 paper and hung in shops of tailors and seamstresses. You could look through the styles and choose what you want. Then came the emergence of young tailors and designers. Then the policy of wearing traditional dresses on Fridays by the federal government of Nigeria. This policy impacted positively on the boom experienced in the promotion of African prints and the various designs and styles that comes with them. Indeed, the African fashion has come to stay.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Remember that popular TV ad where a young woman refused an affectionate gesture because of bad breath? It really drives home the point good manners and bad breath don't mix. In fact, they won't even get you very far. Now, oral health is key to living your best life, whether it is catching up with friends, enjoying your favorite dish, or showing off a confident smile. Your oral health is like your personal billboard. But there is the flip side. Conditions like tooth decay, tooth loss, or even oral cancer can rob you of that bright smile. Often the issues might be as simple as not getting enough fluoride in your water or skipping out on proper oral hygiene. And if you have got a sweet tooth, well, it's time to pay a little more attention. According to World Health Organization's report on oral health, 3 out of 4 people in middle-income countries suffer from some form of oral disease. But here is the good news. Most oral health problems are preventable and treatable, especially if caught early. So how do you keep that healthy and confident smile? That is what we will be exploring on this week's episode of Health Options. Of course, we'll also bring you another special segment on Nature's Corner. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Health Options. I am Salwa Khalil Ibrahim.
Today, we will dig deep into this simple habit that can help you maintain strong, healthy teeth. Whether brushing or flossing, it's all about doing them right. And yes, you really can keep your teeth for a lifetime. Our guest, a dentist, will be joining us shortly to share more insights. Joining me now is Dr. Akinyemi Olulade, a consultant restorative dentist. Many thanks for joining us, doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now beyond what we see in the open, what does the teeth looks like from the inside?
Okay, the teeth looks, what everybody sees when we smile, we see that whitish or yellowish part of the teeth. But it contains the enamel. That's what everybody sees when we smile. And it's usually hard, the hard part of the tooth. And that's what is usually in the mouth. For children, we actually see it as whitish. But for adults, it might be yellowish or grayish. And it looks hard. It's always very hard because the outer covering of the tooth is harder than bone. So that is what we see in the oral cavity when everybody opens mouth. Now, there are different shapes and there are different sizes. The ones that are in front, they are shaped differently from the ones that are at the back. This is because of the different functions that they perform. For instance, the ones in front, apart from making us look beautiful when we smile and everywhere lights up, they also help us to bite into anything we want to bite. For instance, if I want to bite a slice of bread, I bite with the ones in front. If I want to bite probably apple, I bite with the ones in front. However, the ones at the back, where nobody really sees except I open my mouth wide for you to come and see, they actually help us to grind our food into smaller bits so that they can be mixed with saliva and they can be swallowed readily in a form that our body can easily break down.
Okay, so now what are those common tooth disease or decay we see around here?
The ones that are really common are dental caries or tooth decay. And a lot of times when people present at the dental clinic, they present because of pain. And at that point, the disease has progressed deeper than we can even imagine. So they present with cavities, and the cavities, if not taken care of, can progress to deeper cavities that affect where the blood vessels and the nerves are and causes severe pain. If not taken care of, it progresses into our bone and causes swellings. And if those wounds are still not taken care of, it can actually proceed into our chest, and before we know it, it can actually lead to death.
When you lose your teeth, can you recover it as an adult? And then now, what are the best way of treating some of these tooth diseases?
Okay, when you lose your teeth, they can't grow back. As against for the children, when they lose their teeth, well, they can still grow back because the baby teeth falls off and the adult teeth erupt. But as an adult, by adult, I mean from 18 years and above, when there is a tooth loss, it cannot grow back. But they can be replaced. There are different replacement options. There are the replacement options that you can remove and fix yourself. So you remove it out of your mouth and then you fix it back. Those ones are called removable dentures. And there are other fixed options. One of them is a bridge, and the other one is an implant. The bridge needs to make use of the two adjacent teeth to act as support to replace the missing tooth, while the implant just makes use of the exact space where the tooth fell out from, and the implant is placed there, and then the artificial tooth is built over it.
Okay. Now, what are some of the causes now of tooth decay or tooth disease?
The decay normally occurs as a result of poor oral hygiene, the kind of diets that we take. When we take sticky diets, And then after we take those kind of diets, we consume sugars, unrefined sugars, and there is no proper oral hygiene measures afterwards. For instance, when we take sticky diet, what happens is that we normally have bacteria resident in our oral cavity. Numerous of them, different kinds. Now, when we take this sugar, there are some bacteria that love the sugar. So they start thriving, they start multiplying. And when they start multiplying, they act on that sugar and produce an acid. And as we're all aware of, our teeth are really hard. In fact, the outer covering of our teeth is actually harder than bone. Yeah. But when these bacteria produce this acid, the acid start eating up the hard part of the tooth, and then it forms cavity on a gradual basis. It's not something that happens in a day. It's something that happens over a period of time. And when that happens, a cavity is formed in the tooth. Now, when the cavity is formed, initially there might be no symptoms. Then after a period of time, the individual might start complaining of things like, oh, I have sensitivity. Yeah. Anytime food packs, it shocks me. And if nothing is still done at that point, then it progresses to a stage where the individual starts complaining of pain that is so severe and causes sleepless nights. If nothing is still done at that stage, then it progresses to a point where there is swelling, there is toothache, there might be fever associated, and if nothing is done, the swelling can still progress to our jaws, to the throat, and before you know it, the person finds it difficult to breathe, and there might be loss of life from that.
Okay, Doctor, we'll take a breather here. When we come back, we'll talk about how to avoid bad breath and then talk further on how to care for our teeth. Join us again.
Some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Give your child Bonvita. It contains essential vitamins and minerals that support mental and physical vitality. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
Kuka, that's the name in Hausa.
That is call it Oshe.
In Yoruba.
Oshe, Igi Oshe.
Okay, so I know it's Kuka.
I am delighted to have you join us on Health Options, a program that not only tracks government policies on health.
The total cholesterol is made up of some components. The high density lipoprotein, which is the good cholesterol, the low density hypoprotein, which is the bad.
Cervical cancer, a type of cancer that develops in a woman's cervix.
There were opportunities for women to get screened for both cervical and breast cancer, maybe up to 30,000, but we'll be having figures of 5,000.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you are watching Health Options on the NTA, and today we are talking about oral hygiene and how to keep those pearly whites in great shape with the help of our guest, Dr. Akinyemi. Many thanks for being there, Doctor.
Thank you for having me once again.
What causes bad breath? Some people say it's natural. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
There are different causes of bad breath. So, there are the physiological ones and there are the pathological ones. Okay. Permit me to use our terms a bit.
Okay.
So the physiological ones are the ones that it happens in everybody. For instance, when we sleep at night and we wake up in the morning, because we've closed our mouth for a long stretch of time without anything entering, what first comes out of our mouth can be unpleasant. Also, sometimes when we fast, you know, probably we have church programs or mosque programs, and then we decide to fast, and nothing enters our mouth for a long period of time. And we're not talking, we're not drinking water. When we open our mouth, what comes out of it would be a little bit offensive. But those are physiological ones that happen in every individual. Now, the degree differs though. Some might be mild, some might be more, but it happens in everybody. But the pathological ones, they are the ones that are caused as a result of something other than the physiological ones. For instance, people that have reduced saliva flow.
Allow me to come in there, doctor. When you say pathological, is that natural?
It's not natural.
Okay.
It's a diseased state.
Okay.
So those that have reduced salivary flow, all of us have saliva in our mouth, but there's a certain quantity of saliva that we need to have in our mouth to keep our mouth healthy.
Yeah.
In some people, because of probably diseases or treatment or medication, this salivary flow is reduced. It makes the mouth dry. We call it dry mouth. So because of that, the saliva is not able to clear off probably the food residue that we've chewed effectively, and then everything accumulates and it can produce a foul odor. Also, there are some diets, some food that we take. For instance, garlic, onions. There are some things that we chew, that we take, that if we don't clean our mouth almost instantly, the odor that emanates might be unpleasant over time. Also, cavities, when we have cavities on our teeth where food packs and we are not able to clean it adequately, those are also sources of halitosis. Then when we have some accumulations around the necks of our teeth, we call them plaque, we call them calculus. Some people call them tartar. But they are accumulations that have been long-standing around the neck of our teeth. No matter how hard we brush, we cannot brush off calculus. So we need the professionals to use our specialized gadgets to clean them off. If they are not cleaned off, they keep calling smells and odor.
So how often do you clean your teeth in that process?
Once the calculus is formed, there's no amount of brushing that can get it out, except you visit a dentist.
How do you know when it's accumulated and then you need to, is it weekly, is it monthly, or is it every day?
6 monthly visits to the dentist would be able to handle calculus. If you do a regular check every 6 months, that's twice a year. Yeah, so all those accumulations will be cleaned off. Even when they accumulate, before you come the next time, they can be cleaned off effectively. For those with underlying systemic conditions, they would have to visit their physicians to take care of those systemic problems. Because, like, as I said, it's not coming from the mouth. It's coming from the system. Now, there are various people, experts, specialized in those fields. So they will treat them. And once they are treated of all those symptoms, then the bad smell would stop.
Okay. Now, a lot of medical professionals like you will say a lot of people don't know how to care for their teeth, especially when it comes to brushing. Now, maybe you can explain or, in a way, demonstrate how do you clean your mouth properly?
Okay. So we need to clean our mouth with toothpaste and brush. Like I said, fluoride-containing toothpaste. Now,
that in particular?
It has to contain fluoride.
Okay.
Because it helps our teeth.
Okay, are there toothpaste that don't contain fluoride?
Yes, there are. Toothpaste that don't contain fluoride in the market. There are.
Okay.
So we need to brush our teeth, and then we need to spend time brushing. 30 seconds is not ideal for brushing. So if I'm brushing, I'm spending about 2 to 3 minutes brushing. And I'm not using force. I'm using a medium tufted brush. I'm not using hard brush. We're using
I know that those people
medium
that will brush and brush, the sound we scare you off.
Yes, some people brush so hard that it causes some other diseases, even for the teeth. But when we brush gently, and then we brush the teeth with the right brush and toothpaste. We're not brushing the gum, mind you. You're not placing your brush on your gum. It's the teeth. And it's been advised that you place your gum on your teeth and you roll it gently away towards the tip of your teeth. So I'm coming from my gum and then I'm brushing to my teeth. And I'm taking time to brush like that for all the teeth in my mouth. including the ones we call wisdom teeth, because a lot of people don't even push their brushes to the back to brush the last set of teeth in our mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when you have something trapped in your teeth, a lot of people will say you'd rather use a floss to remove it as against toothpick. What does that mean? Is it right to use toothpick or, you know, floss to remove something trapped food in your teeth? What is the best way to go about that?
The best option is to use a floss.
Okay.
But in using a floss, there are different kinds of flosses in the market. There is one that you see that they have handles, and you see that even at the end of the handle is a toothpick.
Yeah.
We highly discourage those kinds of flosses because we prefer the ones, it's just the rope part, the thread part that we want to use. And what we want to use is that we want to slide it in between our teeth, and any food particles that we have, by the time we are sliding it out, it gently comes out with the floss. As against toothpicking, in which we're using toothpick to poke in between our tooth teeth, and we keep digging and digging. Sometimes it's frustrating to get the whatever food particles that have lodged in between out, and at the same time we're weakening the support, what is holding the tooth to the bone. We call them ligaments. We keep destroying them. And then over time, food keeps packing, the tooth gets weaker. At some point, it might even start shaking, and you are causing a lot of harm to the tooth than good. So it's better to floss in between the teeth with dental floss that is waxed so that we can get out the food residue.
Many thanks, Dr. Ololade, for that insight and for coming on health options.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's head over to Nature's Corner.
During the rainy season, what we experience much is people with aged people with common illness of arthritis, rheumatism, arthritis. They experience their pains, their crisis coming then. And for those who are sickle cell anemias, have different issues then. And for those who have allergy of maybe asthmatic patients, they actually experience all those attacks at that period of time. So for those who have this history of illness, please, what we advise you is you have to take up your home remedies that you're already used to. For those with asthma, please, what you do is get your ginger close to you. Make sure you are into ginger drinks. Make sure you take anything that has to do with your cinnamon. Whenever you're taking your water, don't make it just pure water like that. Just get your lemon inside your bottled water and sip it all the time. And make sure you are always hydrated so that you will not get dehydrated. Whenever you are taking those water, make sure you cut off from anything that has to do with cold things, generally. For those who have arthritis as well, you have to avoid taking bath with cold water. Make sure you take your bath with hot water, and make sure you take your bath with a lot of steam so that you get yourself after all. Then you make sure you have your balms that you can use to massage your joints and also the body generally. For those who have maybe history of pneumonias or any history of asthma and so on, please just try and make sure you get this home remedy available in your house. For those who have their lemon at their backyard, this is a very good remedy. This can also help you. You can just have it in your bottle of your water. You can be sipping much of water. When you have much rainfall and so on, make sure you're always hydrated too. Because when you get dehydrated, it affects virtually all the thyroids or even the vocal lobe, where you can not speak much. You start losing your voice. You can cut it into two, then you put it in your bottled water. You can be sipping it, or you make sure the bottled water is a bit cool warm. Yes, when it's a bit warm, it's more better preferable. And with this, the lemon also helps in terms of detoxification as well. It can help you in terms of detoxification, detoxify the lungs and so many things in the body. Then also, this clove you are seeing, the red clove, is very good. Is more like antibiotic. Yes, in nature, it's more of antibiotic. It has a lot of components and also some antibacterials that takes care of all those kind of small infections that comes through fluid and cold and catarrh. So it can help you with this clove. You boil your water with the clove and also sip it. You make it like your tea. You can add honey. Adding the honey, it will give you a very good syrup that has to do with cough syrup. Yes, with this you are good to go. You are against the cough. Cough cannot just come in anyhow. It's a very good antibiotic when it comes to any respiratory organs infections. Lemongrass, this is common in most of our environments. You can boil it on its own. Just the juice. You can even apply the juice on your legs where you have your aches like rheumatism, arthritis. It also helps for it. And we can also use it together with turmeric. You boil it together with turmeric. It's good to go like your tea. And as well, you can boil it with the clove and the ginger and also with the lemongrass. This is very, very good. And you can make sure once you boil it finish, make sure you sip the water. Yes. Then you take only the fluid. It's like anti-detoxifier too. It detoxifies, and also it has like a medicinal value for anything that has to do with fluid and catarrh. The lemongrass, you can have it in a bowl and hot water where they can take a cover for it. They can steam, yes, and just inhale it in. It's very, very good too for the children and also for the adults. For those who have it like a fever, the catarrh is coming up like fever. Yes, and maybe the chest is already highly congested, it's heavy already, you can't even breathe the way you are supposed to breathe and so on. Once you have that steam bath and you take the inhaling of the heat in, within 3 minutes you'll feel free.
Remember, there are many options to live a healthy life, and one of them is by turning into healthy options. If you missed today's episode, don't worry. You can catch these and previous episodes of the program on our YouTube channel at www.nta.gov.ng. We'd love to hear from you. So send us your questions, comments, and suggestions. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Now breathe in, raise your head up.
Welcome to Health and Wellness Tips, where we prioritize your well-being and happiness.
When the body pressure is greater than usual, one has hypertension and is at risk of organ injury.
A balanced diet is the key to a healthy lifestyle.
It's going well, but here comes Okabari and Jet Okabari takes it, tucks it, buries it.
From the football prowess of Kano Nwankwo to the track dominance of Blessing Okabari, Nigerian athletes continue to excel. Chioma Ajunwa, the first Nigerian woman to win an Olympic gold medal.
Applying the pressure from the rest and trying to come back, and Amuzan taking it. Amuzan, well, getting consolation there.
Join us as we witness the determination, resilience and passion.
No, it goes in. Scoofet unlucky, but it's that old combination from last season.
This is the most outstanding, the best women football player on the African continent, Asisat Oshuala.
Great ball, Musa!
Cheer on our sporting heroes as we celebrate their remarkable achievements on the global stage.
Running by Victor Moses, and the finish, well, speaks for itself. Wonderful strike, and Nigeria lead by a goal to nil. Musa went for the curler, hits the crossbar this time.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Ìgbà tó tó àsìkò tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ iléèwé, wọ́n gbé iléèwé wọn láti abúlé wa ní 1955. Kò kéré stature mi kéré ńgbà yẹn. Ìyá mi tí mo wà lọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ ní mi gbọ́dọ̀ lọ. Mo ní ìyá mi sọ pé mo ní lọ ní. Kí ẹ̀kọ́ tí wọ́n jẹ kù àtẹ́já, mo ti gbé torí abúlé ni mo ti gbé, mo ti jẹ inú mi ló mo ti ń bá wọn lé ẹran káàkiri. Àbúrò màmá mi bá tún wá. Wọ́n ní ìyá wọn tó bá yẹ pé owó ni àwọn ràn ọmọ ìlọ iléèwé kọ́mọ wọlé. Màmá bá change ohun pé nígbà tí wọ́n ní ọmọ náà wọ́n ní wọ́n sọ nìkan ló wà ní ibi tí wọ́n ti máa kọ́ wọn tí wọ́n ń pè ní kíláàsì ní wọ́n jẹ́ máa lọ. Wọ́n ní yọ̀ dà fún yọ̀ máa lọ. Mo ní màmá mi ìyá mi wọn lọ, ìyá mi wọn bá gbá mi ń pàkọ́. Nígbà mo dé kíláàsì ìjọ yẹn mo ṣe wú ní mo wú inú mi ò dùn torí kò èmi náà máa ń tí ẹ̀kọ́ jẹ́ ń gbà yẹn.
All over the world, people have the different forms of educating their people. One key one being oral traditions. People pass on their own stories, their own histories, by stories, fables, and so on, down from one generation to the other. Africa is no different. Nigeria is no different. Indigenous peoples of the world have been able to educate their own children the way they would want to. Now, if we talk about formal education in Africa, the oldest university, or one of the oldest universities in the world, is the Sankore University that was started by Mansa Musa, Timbuktu in Mali. This is over 1,000 years plus ago. That was even before Westerners thought of even coming to their own universities. Take note, one of the oldest universities in the world was in Africa. Now, education in Africa has gone the way it has gone. Can we really explain it? No. But as this journey progresses on our history today, You'll get to hear more indigenous learning, skill acquisition, and other fields. Welcome, and today we're reaching you from Freedom Park. You'll get to understand the connection of this place to education. Welcome. My name is Cordelia Obley.
You see, we have 23.90, 23.90, 23.5, 23.5.
Learning is said to be the act or process of acquiring knowledge or skills. Human learning starts at birth and continues until death as a consequence of ongoing interactions between people and their environment. People are taught theories and foundational knowledge that they apply to their lives as they grow. It can take place in different forms, some in the apprenticeship form, online, and in school. Early 19th century, Africa faced European imperialist aggression. Military invasion and eventual conquest. The European major goal was economic, search for manpower, raw materials, and guaranteed markets for their manufactured products. Their focus was not to develop Africa, so there was no much effort to improve on the already laid down traditional learning process.
The display photos you're going to see here are all of Her Majesty's prison. These items are identified as materials from the prisons excavated. Why are we here? At the beginning I told you that you discover the relationship between what this prison represents and the education that came with it. What does it truly mean? What did it have to do with our society? Was it more of an economic thing or for the well-being of the people? Over here, there's something I'm going to show you.
The formal form of education is just the natural way of teaching your children some basic things at home. Like this thing, don't do it. This thing, if you do this outcome. Some of them are even attached to something that we call superstition. Part of this informal education include maybe learning the same trade with your parents. Like I can use my own father as an example, who told the line of his own father. What they were doing at that time was selling of clothes. So they go from one village town to another, carrying this thing on their head and selling to people. It was a form of trade then. And another aspect of it is farming too, which he was equally involved in and enjoying and planting some of those cocoa farm and everything. All these things were done without documentation. So we call them more or less an informal form of education.
Before the coming of the Europeans, children were taught the practical skills needed to function successfully in traditional society. Usually, children within 2 or 3 years of age belong to an age group. Together, they learn the customs of their community and were assigned specific duties around the village, such as sweeping lanes or clearing the bush. As the children grew older, the boys were introduced to farming and more specialized work, such as wood carving or drumming. Girls would learn farming and domestic skills. Boys would often enter into apprenticeship-type relationships with master craftsmen. Another type of education that existed before colonization was Quranic education policy in the northern part of Nigeria. Islam was deeply entrenched both in their religion and education. It was the British missionaries that introduced Western type of education into Nigeria in the mid-19th century. In 1843, the first school in Nigeria was built in Badagry by the Anglican Church Missionary Society, CMS.
The Portuguese traders that came to Nigeria went straight to Benin, the Benin Kingdom, and they taught the children of the Oba. After that period, another set came, and those sets were the missionaries, the CMS, the Anglican Church Missionary Society. They came to Lagos, precisely Badagry, and because of their philosophy, they came with the idea of evangelizing the Africans with the Christian religion. And the people were not too ready to embrace their religion at that time. In fact, they even wanted them to be paying them so that their children can be let off the hook to go to school. And at that time, they decided to build the first school, the first primary school at Badagry. From Badagry, they went to Calabar and then to other coastal cities in Nigeria. And as they went with their religion. In fact, the opposition they were getting at that time came about because our parents those days were mainly farmers, and they usually take their children to the farm. And so if they allow their children to go to school, who will go to the farm with them? And that was one of the reasons why they wanted the missionaries to be paying them some tokens before they can allow their children to go to school.
Over time, other educational institutions appeared, and Western education became firmly established in the lives of Nigerians.
I learned, but I did not meet it myself, that there was what they call standard primary school, or what they call the standard school. So I say, okay, you are in standard 1, standard 2, all those up to primary 6, which they call standard 6 then. So it was what they inherited from the colonial master. So it was very beautiful as at that time, but only very few were going to school because they saw it as a way of snatching the children away from them. So they live in the informal form of education.
Western education helped our past nationalists obtain independence from the colonial masters. They gathered knowledge and skills that made them fight for their freedom.
Mr. Chairman, we congregate today in order to finish the business of constitution making, which we started last year.
In 1952, the then Western Nigerian government agitated for improvement in the educational system. Their cry was not heard until 1955, when free primary education program was introduced by late Chief Obafemi Jeremiah Oyeni Awolowo.
I could pass it for the then premier then. The premier of Western region was someone that loved education so much. And because of the revenue available unto him that time from cocoa, which happened to be a major source of income then, and because of the policy of the federal government then, which allow each section to manage their resources, so he was able to have enough money to organize a free primary education, whereby children were going to school without paying money. But before then, they were paying for their primary education, and most of the parents that could not afford to send their children to school, they learn other trade. So in order to balance this thing, because I believe then Awolowo said something, said that the children of these people don't train will not allow your own children to do what, to rest. So the best thing you have to do is to make sure you give them the proper training, and by so doing, let us start with a primary education. So he introduced the universal basic education, which we call that was the primary school education. The primary school education, which was free for everybody, and most parents were very happy about it. And that was the origin, the reason why you see that the West was somehow far ahead of the other region when it comes to that education.
In 1956, educational law for free education was enacted, while in the North and Lagos province, free education was introduced in 1957.
Our history.
The military intervention of 1966 and Nigerian Civil War of 1967 to 1970 had great negative impacts in the free primary education scheme. So, after the Civil War, the government sought for ways to bring back the glory of our education. In 1976, Nigerian government passed a law making education compulsory for all children between the ages of 6 and 12.
The former system was okay as at that time when it was introduced. When you talk about the compulsory education, what really happened was that parents were not really ready to send their children to school. So it now became a law that you must send these children to school. If you don't do it, you will be punished for it. So they now become compulsory. So if they see any of these children selling or walking along the street, they pick the children up, and when the parents go there, they pay fine for not allowing the children to go to school. That was the compulsory of 1976.
In 1976, Nigerian government passed a law making education compulsory for all children between the ages of 6 and 12. By 1980, approximately 98% of this group were enrolled in primary schools, up from 37% in 1970. Though there was great increase in number of primary schools, but the number of students was not equivalent to the schools, with fewer than 13 million students.
Along the line, that time the system was 654. You spend 6 years in primary school, you spend 5 years in a secondary school, and then 4 years and above in the university for your, depending on the course or courses that you may be reading. After a period of time, people now realize that not all students are bent or inclined for this education system. Some just want to have some basic education that can learn the trade. So they now introduce what we call the 6334. The 6334 says 6 years of primary education, 3 years of junior school.
So in 1983, another educational scheme, the 6334 system of education, was introduced. The system primary aim was meeting the educational needs of Nigerians and equipping the youths with sellable skills that will make them to be self-reliant. By 1985, the country as a whole had 35,000 primary schools. By 1994, the number of primary students in schools had changed a little, even with the country's high birth rate. Educationists and the then government thought of how to improve our educational system. This search gave birth to another educational program called Universal Basic Education on 30th September 1999 by the then President of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo. The Universal Basic Education involves 6 years of primary school education and 3 years of junior secondary school education, culminating in 9 years of uninterrupted schooling, and transition from one class to another is automatic, but determined through continuous assessment.
The reason why they have to look at the American system of education, the British system of education, and look at the way they can blend the two together and see which one is better for the country. And I think the one we are operating now is a very good one, and it's helping the children a lot. So those who could not continue academically can easily know that at least maybe, but now I can go into any trade now. With my little education now, I can manage and do very well.
This scheme is monitored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC. This system, which is still practiced as at the time of this report in Nigeria, is also called 934 system.
Basic education before, that is, you represent only the primary school education. But now we are calling it basic education now. It's the same thing all over the federation, that is 9 years now. The junior school now have been somehow joined to the primary school. So a child that gain admission to primary 1 now must be ready to stop only after the junior secondary school.
Her Majesty's prison originally had 8 cells, surrounded by mud walls and so on. But then, it was rebuilt, reconstructed with bricks they imported all the way from the UK. What interests me much here is the fact that building this thing cost £16,000 to put together this prison. The British administration did that. What you should note here is the fact that for that same year, what was allotted or allocated for education was only £700. I'll read exactly what is written here. This indicates the importance the colonial government placed on the prison system, way above the importance it had on education. So the question now is, was the education designed to enhance the knowledge of the people actually, or was it basically all about exploiting the people?
History has shown that Nigerian indigenous system of education had more impact in our societies in the past than the Western system, which focused more on paperwork.
We read under very tough conditions. Because from indication, we can see that most of our product or students, when they move out of Nigeria, they go and move outside the country, you see that they do fantastically well. So you can see that they beat most of these children over their hands down, meaning that we are not bad when it comes to this education of the thing. What I can only say is that because of the harsh condition which we study about economy and job and everything, psychological, some of these things tend to weigh us down and make us feel as if we are inferior when it comes to the education party. But what I can say is we are not doing bad at all.
Nigeria, like the rest of the countries of the world, has strong desire for development. Today, more than ever before, it has become an indisputable fact that any nation that wants to achieve progress and development must, of necessity, pay serious attention to the development of its human resources, and the key is education.
Our history.
Now, we've used Her Majesty's prison as one of the imageries for today's program to show you where the educational sector maybe got its roots from. I'm talking about the Western education. Let's use it to complete the journey we've started. This was what now became of Her Majesty's prison. And today, this is what it is, the Freedom Park. Freedom, emancipation. Africa, Nigeria, wants to develop as much as the other parts of the world. One main step we believe could lead to this form of development we're looking at having is overhauling our educational system by taking one major step, pulling down those colonial structures that were put there as curriculum or this or that, and bringing those that really reflect today's realities. Education that frees the mind. Emancipation, as Bob Marley would say. Well, special thank you to Freedom Park for letting us do this here, for letting us experience this. I wish you had come with me physically, but thank you for being there. My name is Cordelia Ogbe. We'll see you again on the program Our History. Till then, remember, let your children learn more than what they're being taught in school. Go back to the way we used to do it. Teach them at home. Let them learn your tradition. Let them also understand the history of Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Wow, look at that. Until recently, I had no idea what a pangolin was. Man, this thing is strong. It's a small mammal covered with scales made of keratin, just like our nails. Strong scales, man. The scales has no medicinal value, yet the demand for the scales and the meat is driving the pangolins to extinction. This one's name is Igai, and it was rescued from illegal bushmeat trade. It's going back into the wild where it belongs to keep the ant population in check. Home sweet home. Please say no to illegal bushmeat and report wildlife crime, because poaching steals from us all.
They scored with their second in the second half.
And that's where he's headed, just a little bit.
Toby Amazon, look at the clock. I cannot believe it.
For the victory, Marcus standing firm. Turn 9, turn 10, dives up the inside.
the mosaic of time in the kaleidoscope of life. Time is a masterpiece. A delicate piece when we wait. A vibrant shard when we're late. A dark fragment when we're sad. A radiant tile when we're happy. An intricate pattern when we're in pain. A long, winding thread when we're bored. But time's mosaic is crafted by our hearts and our minds, not by clocks. So piece together your time wisely.
Get ready to indulge in the latest fashion trends and styles on Fashion Vibes.
In Africa, our weddings are very much fashion inspired. Do something that's going to be of benefit, of essence to the people who are behind the big industry we know as the African wedding industry.
From bold prints to contemporary twists, Nigerian fashion is the epitome of elegance and creativity.
Hello, and here's the news update at 11. I am your carrier, Clinton. The federal government has officially handed over 64 compressed natural gas CNG buses with varying capacities to leaders of organized labor and student unions. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris, accompanied by fellow ministers, emphasized that this initiative aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to transforming Nigeria's economy into a sustainable and progressive force. This development is part of the presidential CNG initiative, aiming to finance 200,000 new CNG buses and tricycles across Nigeria by 2027. The deployment of CNG buses promises a cleaner, safer, and more cost-effective transportation solution, echoing President Tinubu's declaration of a new era in Nigeria's public transportation.
Are being trained, so it's a whole gamut of arrangement that will benefit all spheres of.
In continuation of its sustained intensive air operations against armed terrorist hideouts in Kaduna State and its environs, the Nigerian Air Force under Operation Well Punch has destroyed terrorist logistics base at Yadi Forest in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State. A statement by the Deputy Director, Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabiru Ali, indicates that the operation was executed following credible intelligence reports indicating huge presence of terrorists and their weapons cache in the Yadi Forest. Additional intelligence revealed that the logistics base belonged to the notorious terrorist kingpin Kadade Gurgu, a close ally of Dogo. The NAF Air component revealed that Kadage Gurgu has been providing shelter for notorious terrorist kingpins following their aggressive military operations in Sokoto and Zamfara State. Accordingly, the air component dispatched an aircraft supported by an intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance ISR platform to attack the target. However, as the aircraft approached, some of the terrorists were seen emerging from under the shrubbery and running away from the area. Subsequently, the target were engaged recording successful hits on the logistics facility, which was engulfed in flames with thick black smoke seen. The Nigeria Air Force, in collaboration with surface forces, will continue to dominate the battle space through extensive situational awareness, constant patrols and targeted interdiction of bandits' safe havens within its area of responsibility and neighboring states. This aims to decimate and flush out terrorism and criminal activities within the northwest and north central region. And that's the news update at this hour. Join us at 1 for another update. Good morning.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Ubongo is a swinging of your brain. You use it to find solutions to whatever life throws your way. If you're in a tough situation, don't give up, don't you complain. It's okay, you find a way, just use your brain. To me, Ubongo, just use your Ubongo. Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids. To me, Ubongo, just use your Ubongo. Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids.
So you can be quiet, huh? This is your new teacher. She'll be teaching you
practical life skills.
We're finally getting practical life skills.
My name is Miss Mlea.
So, will I learn how to build a machine?
Unfortunately,
it's either cookery or carpentry. Choose one. Cookery to my left and carpentry to my right.
Pick what you love and are comfortable with. Remember that you'll be presenting whatever you make on Parents' Day this Saturday. Good luck, kids.
Where are you going?
To the carpentry side. I want to make a stool.
Have you ever seen girls do carpentry? No, because they belong in the kitchen. Carpentry is for boys. This is a very important course. You'll get entrepreneurial skills that will help you find easy employment or self-employment.
Doing something I don't even like. A teaspoon of garlic, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a kilo of What will you cook? I don't know. I don't want to cook. I want to make a stool. But I can't choose carpentry just because I'm a girl. What's stopping me from making a stool? I have the same hands as boys do. Go ahead and cook. What's so bad about cookery? Sometimes I don't enjoy cooking, but my grandma would be proud of me when she sees I'm able to cook pilau. The women in our family are very, very famous for their pilau. There must be another way. Something smells delicious at Koba's house. Let's go find out. Let's. Maybe the food will cheer me up. Wow, it smells so good and it's not even done yet? Now definitely managed to bring us here just by the smell.
I am unmatched when it comes to cooking. My mother and father love it when I cook, especially when they're tired from work and come home to find delicious food prepared for them.
So, why haven't you joined the cookery group?
Wait, the boys cook?
But you're doing it right now.
I mastered the skill because there's no one else to cook at home. My parents are usually at work and are tired by the time they come back. And my